right, guys, what's good? Welcome to another edition of Livewire Sports Media. And you know what it is. Caitlin Clark came back with a vengeance on your Saturday Vibe edition. When I say she came back with a vengeance, she came back like Mike did when he retired and came back and hit that double nickel in the garden. I was looking for CC to hit that 50. I even dreamt about it. I really wanted her to hit 50. The way she was going, the way she was on fire, the way she was feeling it, the Liberty didn't have no answer for her. The first half, Caitlin Clark had 25 points. She was 9 for 13 from the field, 6 for 9 from 3-point range, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, the highest scoring half of her career. And she wasn't done, guys. She wasn't done because with that, the the New York Liberty and the the New York Liberty and the Indiana Fever went down to the wire the first time around. And Caitlin Clark had the ball in her hands, and we know how that went because Natasha Cloud was all over her, hugging her, did everything but kissed her in the first game, and the Fever lost. But since then, Caitlin Clark was out. She was out about 4 games, about 3 weeks. She had to make her long-awaited return. Now, we already know this is the Commissioner Cup. We know the Commissioner Cup is going on. But right now, the Indiana Fever is tied with the New York Liberty 3-1. And the Indiana Fever has closed the points gap. I think they're plus 36, where the Liberty are plus 69. Now, the Liberty do got a couple of games to play, and the Fever can close that gap and take control with a victory over the Connecticut Sun next week. But nevertheless, let's get to the game stats. Caitlin Clark, Liberty outscored the Indiana Fever by 2 in the first quarter, 26-24. Then they both was on fire in the second half, but the Fever outscored them 29-24 to take a halftime lead. Then in the second half, the Fever came out. The Fever came out. But let's listen to what Caitlin Clark had to say about the second half.
I think the way we responded, like we just talked about when they went on that run in the third quarter, and our coaches told us at the start when we were in the locker room at halftime is like, we already used too many timeouts. We don't really have timeouts to use. So don't let them go on a run. And then we let them go on a run. And we knew like Steph wasn't calling one there. Like we had to figure out how to play through it and go on a run of our own. And we talked about this in the locker room. I think that's like kind of where we grew today. In the past, like that's kind of where we would crumble. That's exactly where we crumbled in Atlanta in our last game is it was tight at halftime. We come out in the third quarter and we kind of fall apart. But today we really stuck together. We went on our own run. Somebody said we went on like a 25-3 run or something like that. And, just proud of everybody, whether they were coming off the bench. I thought Sid was fantastic today. She makes 2 huge threes for us in the second half. Soph was fantastic. People just made really big plays down the stretch. So, yeah.
And that's the most important thing, controlling the, the third quarter. We have known in the past, last year to this year, the Indiana Fever will go up big. Guess what? They fall apart in the third. But Stephanie White, she finally, and I'm going to take a page out of Bad Boys. Bad Boys 1. If y'all don't know what I mean, the last scene when Martin Lawrence was driving the car and he had to say Will. So Stephanie White, this is to you. For now on, this is how you let the Fever play basketball. From now on, this is how you allow Caitlin Clark control the game. From now on, you let Caitlin Clark have the ball in her hand. This is how Indiana Fever is supposed to play. This is how Indiana Fever is supposed to play up tempo, run their opponents down. Now, granted, the Liberty did stay in the game some because they had to get to the free throw line. The referees was blowing whistles like they was doing traffic. I mean, Stewie. I mean, she damn near was almost perfect from the line. Sabrina Ionescu getting to the line. I mean, they without them two getting to the line, they pretty much kept the New York Liberty in the game. Because if they didn't get to the foul line like the way they did, this game would have been way over. It would have been gone. The Indiana Fever the Indiana Fever came out with a purpose in this game, knowing that Sophie and Caitlin Clark was back. Caitlin Clark wanted the show because the Fever should have had the first game, and they had all of theirs. Because guess what? We could say y'all could say this and say, hey, well, the New York Liberty didn't have Leon Fevers, they didn't have Jacko Jones. But guess what? We didn't have DeWanna Bonner either. Natasha Howard was a shell of herself until Stephanie White did the right thing and set her down. But guess what? It was not so much Stephanie White either. Because guess who it was? Austin Kelly. If you paid attention to the game, Austin Kelly was commanding the huddle in the game. Stephanie White wasn't there. She was there, but when it came down to the huddle on the sideline, guess what? It was Austin Kelly. This Fever team plays better when they flowing. Now they did some crazy stuff, and I really in the fourth quarter, Kelsey Mitchell finally kicked out of her slump and scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. But prior to that, she was making mental mistakes. In the third quarter, CC went out. Don't know what point of the game it was, but the lead was up to 13. They had a comfortable 13-point lead. As soon as CC went out, guess what? The Liberty went on a run. The Liberty went on a run and um cut it down to 6. And then it was down to 4. But they never was able to take the lead. And then until Caitlin came back in the game. Now, granted, um, I'm looking at these box scores here. Um, Caitlin had 7 turnovers in that game. It's expected, but hey, it's what it is. But she was a +5. She had 9 rebounds, 9 assists. I meant 8 rebounds, almost a triple double in this game. 32 points, shooting 11 for 20 from the field, 7 from 14 from 3-point land, and then she could have probably had 10 in that game. She was 3 from 5 from the free throw line. Natasha Howard, she only played 14 minutes in the game. 14 minutes. You know why? She was useless in this game. She was downright useless in this game. She was missing bunnies. They all missed layups. I ain't gonna lie to you not. They all missed layups. I think that should be one of the main things they need to work on in the gym is layups. Because they missed a whole heap of them. But they weathered the storm. The Fever weathered the storm and they controlled the game. They did not lose none of the lead. They won every quarter. The Fever won every quarter of this game. Um, Shout out to Sid Colston. 20 minutes. 3 from 4 from the field. 2 from 3 from 3-point line land. 6 assists. 6 assists. And I had to say she has 10 points and she was a plus minus in the she was a plus in the game. I want to give her props because the last 3 games, even though the Fever had lost and won, but ever since we brought in Ari McDonald, Sid Custon has stepped up her game. For the last few games, she scored 7 points twice, and this is probably the best she has scored with Caitlin on the floor, being back, and she scored 10 points. Cunningham, she struggled a little bit today. She only had 5 points. She had 5 personal fouls. She had 4 rebounds. She was 1 from 2 for 3, 2 for 4 from the field, but she played 25 minutes. but she was a plus 31. Sid was a plus 8. Johnson was a plus 4. Natasha Howard was a minus 15. And I'm going to have to say this right now. It's going to be one or the other. When DeWanna Bonner comes back, you either start DeWanna Bonner in Howard spot alongside Lexi Hall, or you start Sophie Cunningham in that starting lineup. I have seen enough of Natasha Howard. I think she's could be serviceable coming off the bench, running with the second unit with Sid Colston, but she's not good with the first unit. Not when Caitlin Clark is running the show. She's not good at all. She's stagnant. She claws the paint. Aaliyah Boston can't get the ball. There's no stretch. But when soon as Johnson comes in the game, it seems like when they pair Johnson's and Leah Boston up, guess what? Leah Boston gets the touches that she needs. By speaking of Leah Boston, she did had a double double this game, you know. But they know that they had Boston went off for 27 points the last game. So guess what they had to do? They had to stop her. They had to make sure she didn't. And guess what? That opened a lot of shots. See, the New York Liberty is going to have an issue with trouble with the Indiana Fever, especially when it comes down. They play again, and then they might meet in the postseason because they don't know what to take away now from the Indiana Fever. You're going to either have to take the post away with Aaliyah Boston, or you're going to have to take the outside shooting, and you can't take both away. You're going to have to get one or the other. Mary Madrine, uh, Marine Johannes, she couldn't do nothing with Caitlin Clark. Stewie couldn't do nothing with Caitlin Clark. So, Satu's sister couldn't do nothing with Caitlin Clark. Sabrina Ionescu couldn't do nothing with Caitlin Clark. Um, Kennedy Burke couldn't do nothing with Caitlin Clark. I guess the other girl, I think her name Coffee, whatever her name is, she couldn't do nothing with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was all world today. She was out of control. She was definitely in her Michael Jordan bag. She was doing things. The only thing she didn't do is the shoulder shrug. Oh, that would have been classic. And we missed the voice of Ryan Rucco too. So the Indiana Fever right now, they gotta they scratch the games the next four because I think they're on the West Coast for next four games after the Connecticut game. But I do want to. I really want them to win the Commissioner's Cup. I think the next couple of days with Caitlin just resting, getting a little bit of treatment, and not overexerting herself, is going to be great because you're gonna have a couple of teams that's going to be willing to play you and everything like that. Um, but nonetheless, Satu's sister, she had 10 points. Sabrina Nescu had 34. Natasha Cloud had 5. She had 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Um, Stewie again led that line, had 24 points. But the Indiana Fever, like I said, the attendance for that game was what 17,000. So let's look at team stats real quick before I go on thing. Now they both shot bad in the second half from the field because they was almost 70% even in the first half, but they both shot the Fever shot almost 50%, they shot 42%. 3-point land, Fever set a franchise record with 17 3-pointers in the game. Yes, they set a franchise record for 17 3-pointers in the game. That is amazing. Between Clark Mitchell and Lexi Hall. Now, also, they was 11 for 16 from the free throw line. They got to get better in that department as well as making layups. They got to get better at free throws because the Liberty they was 22 for 30 from the free throw line. 22 from 30 from the free throw line. That's absurd. Can't do that. Rebounds, we out rebound them 38 to 24. Um, we out system 25 to 17. They have more steals than us. We have more blocks than them. We have more turnovers than them by 1. Fast break points, they had 27. We had 19. We got to get better in that department. Points in the paint, we was leading at halftime, but they outbeat us. They had 44. We had 36. We got to get better in that. We got to start committing silly fouls as well. Um, their largest lead was 11. Ours largest lead was 16. So, with that being said, what the Indiana Fever could learn from this, don't change what you was doing today. It's no more of that slow ball. It's time to stop playing fast. It's time to stop playing fast. It's time to start playing up tempo. It's time to put the foot on the gas on these teams and wear their ass out completely. So now, before I close out, I'm just gonna shoot you with a pretty good trailer. So there you have it. The Indiana Fever put the beats down on the New York Liberty to give them their first loss of the season. And I love it. And despite the referees, the Fever overcame everything. And that's what I've been continually talked about. Overcoming, not crying to the refs a lot, overcoming what you could do and not losing leads in the third quarter, going into the third quarter, not allowing the referees to dictate the game for you to keep you out of your rhythm, continue to play your game. Despite the Liberty going to the foul line a lot of times, but it wasn't enough for y'all to do because as long as y'all making shots and scoring, don't really matter at the end of the day and make good sound decisions. And Natasha Howard didn't make good sound decisions. Kelsey Mitchell didn't early in the third quarter, but she got it together down the stretch when when we needed her the most. Her, Lexi, and Sid. So let me know what you thought about the game. I did stream the game, so you can check out that restream of that in my playlist, podcast playlist. But I'll be back with y'all on Thursday for another stream when they take on the Valkyries. That should be a good one. Let me know what you think about the game today. I think Stephanie White finally took the cuffs off of Cece. Cece had one hell of a game, came back with a vengeance. Oh, and by the way, even Nike was out here tweeting Caitlin Clark today. Now, that's a sight for sore eyes. They've been on their little promotion tour with Caitlin Clark. Maybe, just maybe, they trying to get it right. So with that being said, this is your boy Livewire Sports Media. This is your Saturday Vibe edition. Great victory for the Indiana Fever, baby. Taking down the mighty New York Liberty 102-88. Because guess what? You know what it is. And if you don't know, now you know.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment.